It's 6:30 a.m. The sun is rising, and the noise pollution continues. Meanwhile, another lost soul looks for his place. I wonder when the noise is going to end. And with all the technology that this period of time offers, everything is handed out in hard copy paper still. Why? Because there is no internet here. The scan code. I came in late last night, waited for probably 3 or 4 hours in a line. When I finally got through the line, I bought my tickets will call, and I presumed I would just hand somebody a scan code, but no, I went to a parking lot. Finally had to walk about a quarter of a mile to a ticket sales office and give him my ID, no scan code, and I got my ticket. Went back to my truck, drove back around into the line, and waited another hour. Over the Burning Man. Soon, the darkness will be completely dispelled, and the restless natives carry on. The abode. There's some stew cooking inside my hermitage. Tearing everything down again. Gonna try and move the trailer with only half of it folded. See how that works. My new spot. Going to see if everything's okay. I just slid one side in. I didn't fold it up and moved it over here. My new home with nobody around me, at least nobody close. Okay, this is the first night of the nightlife here. The first night is, what would that be? That'd be Wednesday night. You see, I got a bright headlamp. I had to turn it down because you blind people when you're riding. You always take an old bicycle there. You don't want to take a new high-end bicycle because it's going to get all dirtied up and sand and grit, and you're going to wear things out when you're riding it. Sometimes you buy a bike and it's ruined by the time this event's over because the dust and the sand. But this is the first night of many nights of night activity at the Burning Man. There's almost a satanic type underlying sound in some of this music. Not all of it, but some of it. Kind of creepy. This has got a, if you go, first time you go to the Burning Man, it's like a wild carnival atmosphere. Carnival and I don't know what else you could describe it, but it's a week where the people go wild. You know, the natives turn wild, I guess what you say, but they're really not wild. It's not something like anything goes. It's actually quite different than that.
It's really important if you go to the Burning Man to know how to ride a bicycle both in the day and night. It's your means of transportation. If you notice, a lot of them have all kinds of decorative lighting on them. It's part of the Burning Man experience to make your bike look good.
It's even wild.
Lots of these fire dancing shows throughout different locations in the playa there. Rather light traffic moving well. The first of many dance venues I visited doesn't look very crowded. There's these traveling venues. There's a ship and it takes passengers and you can tour around the playa.
This is just so cool.
Waiting for free drinks. The playa experience. Many over-the-top type demonstrations and displays are there in the middle of the playa in the evening. A look across the skyline, partying for miles as far as the eye can see. The playa is actually circular, and this is all looking around the diameter of an open playa area.
You know what, everyone, girls just want to have fun.
Okay, I gotta say this: if you're new to the Burning Man, you don't know anything about it. There's no money exchange. Everything is free. You might read up that bartering happens. I don't know about that. I've never seen bartering. I've been going there for a long time. Never seen anybody dicking around bartering anything. Pretty much everybody gives everything away free, and that's what you should do if you bring something. Just share it. This is like an Irish version or Celtic version of cage fighting of some sort. Okay, these are art cars. One of the interesting type of art demonstrations. They always have loud noise and music with them. You know, when I go out, especially at night, but even in the daytime, and go to the big playa area and the rumbling noise in the background, I almost get this feeling I'm going back in time and I'm in an Aztec or Inca culture where there's thousands of people around a circular kiva, and hopefully there will be no human sacrifices here this time. Flashing lights everywhere. And there's the Burning Man. We'll approach the Burning Man temple. Okay, here I am walking up the Burning Man edifice. It's kind of like a temple. It's, as you see, it's got a nice long stairway. Can you believe this is all being built and it's all going to be burned up? All this work. As you get higher, you'll see a panoramic view of the playa from here. You don't have to go up too high because it's all flat land. But this gives you an idea of the circular nature of the giant playa. Must be over a mile in diameter. I don't know what the actual dimensions are. And here's the construction. Very intricate, very well made. A lot of work and effort going into something that you're just gonna burn up, but happens every year. Happens every year. And now we're walking inside where some of the artwork that's displayed. There's some artwork. I used to go to the Burning Man years ago, and I hadn't gone for, I don't think, over 10 years. And this is the first time I went. But as I remember, there's a lot more artwork in the actual edifice of the temple here. Here's some of the artwork here. It's a giant domed room, and it's got a lot of pictography and stuff in it. Some odd things. There's a globe. I don't know what that represents, but it looks like a bunch of old and new art all thrown up against the wall there. And outside again, and there's the construction. This is more interior work. Here's an interesting aerial rock design rotating inside the edifice of the Burning Man. Okay, now we're in the center camp, and here's a piece of art. All kinds of little paraphernalia and demonstrations. There's a gigantic tent there, and there's a lot of activity. Now, one of the things I noticed about the burning, that's artwork outside of the center camp. One thing I noticed about it is the activities seem to center a lot around the center camp now. Most of the activities going on. Okay, I think this is Thursday morning. There's my truck again, and there's nobody yet moved in around me, but there will be, and I'm pretty comfortable there, living solely by myself, just creating my own social connection when I want to, not dealing with neighbors. There's my trusty dirty old bike. And inside the living area here, it's starting to get a little dirty. And a nice clear blue sky. Everything is looking wonderful. And there is the BLM. All right. The fun never ends at Burning Man. My Batman tattoo. Good thing it washes off. Okay, here's fermented food. I'm really into that. It's really healthy for your digestive tract. And these guys were serving up all kinds of fermented food, as I remember, non-alcohol. But I think they were serving shots of alcohol too. There's my cup after drinking some of it. Okay, so I'm bicycling home, minding my own business, and what do I see? The BLM police force and rangers all over the place. What is there, 3, 4 of them there? So I gotta stop and see what's going on. So there's a real story going on here. As you can see, there's officers surrounding that truck, pickup truck towing that trailer. And turns out he was just arriving at the Burning Man. He wasn't driving around or anything loosely in it. He just arose there. And in order to get in the Burning Man, you have to drive about 5 miles off the highway through the desert, through a little 2-lane dirt road, or 3 or 4-lane dirt road into the complex. So you're not even on a road there. But anyway, that story is important. So let me get the story straight again. She was in the driving.
No,
She was in the passenger seat,
That's why it's crazy.
and she got arrested, and he's still standing
She got
there
put in handcuffs. I don't know what she was.
right away. Did she argue with him at all?
No, they were perfectly calm, which is.
Was it a matter of checking her ID for a warrant
No,
or
I
something?
didn't see it. It just they were standing right
Might be she
next
gets
to each other.
a
Then she
standing
went.
warrant. Might be that she gets a standing warrant.
Maybe, but it doesn't look like it. They've got a nice new truck and a trailer. Those
But the
those
guy
kind of
is really calm.
yeah.
He's talking to them like smiling. You know? Although
This has been
he's
going
out
on
for
for
2
an
hours.
hour.
I know. It has to because they're building a case against him. They may only found 2 joints in his truck, so they have to be very, very careful because
They didn't even start.
it'll go to court.
Trailer.
What's that?
They didn't even start with the trailer.
They haven't done the trailer.
Just
Sweep the car.
Well, see, if they can arrest him, then they impound the truck, and then the trailer gets impounded. And once it gets impounded, they
Yeah,
can
then
search
it's
the
evidence.
trailer. The trailer is your home, and supposedly you have to have a warrant. But once they impound it, and God, they can find anything illegal. You know, there's so many laws about all kinds of shit in America that nobody follows at all. But once they can go into your home and find these things, then you're fucked. You know, you're just yeah. But yeah, this is good. This is a real court case for him here. It's kind of gross. It's grotesque here because it gives you the creeps.
Yeah, it does.
It really gives you the creeps that
Have
the
a joint and drive a car. And
yeah. This is supposed to be a big party, fun place, and you got somebody who was he didn't cause an accident. He was driving obviously to try and park his trailer so he could.
yeah.
And they're gonna destroy his life now. His life is toast. Or her life already is, wherever. Maybe she had to. Maybe there's a lot of scenarios. They could have had marijuana, and like I said, this is federal land. You'll get arrested for marijuana here, and that's why if you're gonna smoke, don't smoke out here. If they see you smoking, then boop, they get you. You can smoke in there. They can't do nothing. They won't do it. Yeah. You just do it inside. Do it inside. You'll notice there's nobody smoking pot out here. So, it looks like the guy isn't going to get arrested because the other 2 cars left. I guess they took her away.
They don't have anything on him. Maybe they searched the vehicle because of her.
Yeah.
Really?
Maybe
somebody
she had something.
told him to pick her up.
Yeah. Very strange.
Yeah, he's very relaxed. The guy is like completely relaxed. Like he has nothing.
Or like he has everything.
Everything.
Yeah. I know what you're saying. If he's high enough up, if he's high enough up in the world,
He's gonna be.
yeah, my brother's the governor of California. And that's what he says when he gets out of the truck. Uh-oh, I can't touch this guy. And that's the way it is here, too. Shit, yeah.
He looks a little bit like Schwarzenegger.
I don't know.
Ex-governor.
Yeah, I'm making a video of these.
Beer. That's what
Open beer?
Yeah, two or three open beers.
Oh, yeah, that's why they arrested her. She probably took the rap. See, she probably took the rap. She probably said it was mine. He never touched
But
it.
she can drink it. She's not driving.
She's not driving. No, but he'll get a lesser offense. If she wasn't in the car.
Look, see the 3 bottles, right? You see the 3 bottles at the end of the car?
Okay, so we finally get to the bottom of this whole distasteful event.
That's what they found.
He was pulled over apparently for something on his trailer light, brake lights, or license plate, whatever. And the officers looked inside and found empty containers, empty beer cans or bottles, and that started this whole event.
Tail light out.
Wait a minute. They said. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm really upset about the cop thing. They said you had a tail light out, and they pulled you over, and then they looked for mushrooms. Did you give them permission to go in?
I did not. They just said they were searching the vehicle because it smelled like marijuana, but we didn't have any marijuana.
And so they searched and didn't.
Yeah.
All right. So you got a legal case. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. You never gave them permission. Make sure that neither your wife did or not.
Yep.
You're gonna go to court and get your wife out of there.
Have her with the jail.
What's gonna happen now?
They're taking her to jail.
Yeah, okay. You gonna post bail with her?
I don't know. They told me it'd take maybe 24 hours to 48 hours before they got processed her to the jail.
All right. And then you can't leave. I would go to the Burning Man office, tell them what happened, tell them that you didn't give them permission to search and all that, and you're not going to talk to these guys anymore than you already have. You gave no permission, and that's going to be your case when you go and get a lawyer, do it yourself. The very first thing is, if they stop you for a tail light, if they don't have the right to come start the search, unless they saw some obvious drug use or some disparate behavior. You got to think about that whole thing, and that's where you got to keep your mind clear. And then you can park your trailer, go back to the office, and see if you can come back in if you pick up your wife. All right?
All right, buddy. Appreciate it. Happy birthday. It's my birthday.
Oh, shit. It's your birthday. Did you tell those guys? So let me summarize what happened now that I've got a complete and clear picture. This guy and his wife were driving in their camper trailer, pulling the trailer, and he had a tail light out on his trailer. The cops stopped him. They went in, they interviewed him in the car. They said they smelled marijuana. He had to get out of the truck, and they got in and they found in the back in a paper bag empty beer cans or beer bottles, and they said, okay, open container, and that gave them supposedly the right to search everybody. They searched his wife, and they found these medicinal mushrooms, which they weren't bagged in these things for getting high. They were little tiny things that you took for kind of microdosing, and had a day-by-day thing, but they were illegal. They were psychotropic mushrooms, and they arrested her. That's why she went away in handcuffs, and he was stuck there. They threw everything they could at him, the ticket for the taillight being out. Then they found no marijuana, so I think their grounds for searching the truck was wrong. You can't search a truck on the basis of taillight being out. So I told him I think he's got a good case. And they also gave him a ticket for the open beer cans in a paper bag in the back, because technically that's considered an open container law, which I never knew. Because, I know a lot of people, they go out, like say, go out in the woods or something, they drink a couple beers or a glass of wine with their lunch or something, and instead of throwing the bottle in the woods, they take it home and throw it out. So I guess that's a message to everyone. Throw it out. It's cheaper to be a litterer than to get a ticket for an open container. Being who you are and the fun I've had with you and everything. Hey, man. Yeah, let's get a picture. Let's get a picture. Okay, let's get a selfie. A selfie. We gotta get a. Okay, get this. You see this? See this armband here? There's a story goes with that one because I went to get a drink this afternoon, and I've been getting this hassle before too. They want to see some ID. I said, "What the fuck, man? I look like I'm your I'm not your father. I'm your fucking grandfather, you know." And they said, "It doesn't matter. I got to see your ID." And I pull over my chest. I said, "Look at this hairy, gray hair. You think a 21-year-old can grow that?" They said, "Okay." They give me a drink. Finally, one old bastard, he wouldn't give me a drink. I wanted a beer from him, one of these places. And finally, I, using Socratic argument, got a drink out of him. And we got done and we were friendly. We left on friendly terms. And he gave me this bracelet. Now I don't have to be carded. I'm a fucking 74-year-old man. I look like a fucking old goat.
I feel like I'm taking crazy pills!
Is your battery, is it running? Everything?
Yes, you can keep
No
the
lights
base.
on or anything?
You can keep the yard on.
Oh, okay.
Solar system.
Yeah, okay, sure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Maybe more.
Let me get a picture of you guys. I want to have you for a memory here, okay?
Sure.
with
you.
With me? I don't know. Yeah, that'd be cool. All right. How was your tent last night?
I slept in the car.
You slept in it? Somebody sleep in the tent?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's every way that you can kind of find ways to not necessarily go completely against the current system, but to kind of run in parallel and invite others to kind of step into that parallel path. So, thank you. What's your name? Audrey.
Audrey, thank you so much for sharing that personal story. Very, very powerful. Quick question.
Well, yeah, you said it was a church. It's
508 C138 church, you said it.
Register those two things. You put the calcium imaging together with the structure you saw before to try to figure out what the structure is actually doing. Ideally, you want to get something like this, which is a model of, you know, entire mini columns, entire prefrontal cortex areas, and what's going on inside of them. But of course, when you're just reconstructing and looking at the structure of a cell, you're just getting a three-dimensional image, even if you get to the point where you can build the neurons of a certain type. But what you really want is you want something that has a purpose, so where you can connect with the brain, where you can create a BCI, where you can understand what's going on, make neuroprosthetics, and help people. In order to get there, we need to understand how to do that translation from structure to function. And it's very hard to do because nobody knows what's inside of a working brain. Nobody knows what a correct brain is or what a correct neural circuit is. It's also really hard to collect all that data. If you were to do what you just showed here, what he showed for the fruit fly, it would take like 9,000 years right now doing that same thing for a human brain. But that's getting better now because we have way better electron microscopes and also e-exam. What we really want is we want something that we understand, where we know the function that we put in, for instance, and we can recreate something that we then develop the data from, and then you can use the data to learn what you
Okay, we're in the transcendental mode here, seeking new visions. So now I've been holding this in. I'm gonna go on a diatribe on my experience at Burning Man. I have to start with, I started going to the Burning Man quite a long time ago. It was sometime around 1998. I think the first time I went, it cost $90 for the week. And I went every year since. I talked my girlfriend into going, and she loved it. We used to go every year for quite a while. That was a different experience. It was wilder, crazier, and actually a lot more fun, I have to say that, because you never knew what to expect there, and the things were outlandish. There wasn't a lot of concern, or there was concern, but it wasn't exhibited like it is today for safety and things like that. And even before I started going, I heard stories that was even wilder that I went to. One of the things I went on, I can remember, it was like the second or third year, was the Chairway to Heaven, and it was this love seat sofa that raised you up on a chain drive pole up about over 100 feet so you could see everything in the playa. But there was no seat belts, there was nothing. You just went up there, and when you got up there, you got a little nervous because you could fall off and kill yourself. And there was all kinds of stuff like that. And gradually, it got more safer as I went. The first few years I went, but it was still wild and crazy. And then it was turned into a non-profit. The original originator, or the person who originated this whole thing and was the brains behind it, starting it many years ago in the 1980s. His name was Harvey, his last name, and he turned it over to the non-profit status, which it is today. And the last year I went was when it was being officially turned into a non-profit, which was 2013. And I made a number of videos about that a long time ago. Anyway, I didn't go since 2013 until this time in 2024. And one of the things that were striking that I noticed was the quasi-police state that is there now. It was for the most part live and let live. There were some BLM police and I think state of Nevada police there, but they were kind of in the shadows. They were not predominant. You didn't see them very much, and there wasn't, I don't remember any crime, a lot of crime there. There was a lot of craziness and people sometimes getting drunk and out of hand, but they were usually handled by the people that were there, the festival attendees themselves. It was not one of those situations where there was a lot of conflict at all. At least that was what I remembered. But now, going to this event, I sensed I was like in an urban city where there was a very proactive police force, and it was watching every move almost everybody did. And they had a very large encampment tent in the main playa area there, which was very predominant. And I'm wondering how it's all changed. It became a nonprofit, and as I said, in 2013, and that was when everything started getting real expensive there. And it's one of the reasons I stopped going, because the tickets went from, I don't know what they were last, about $250, I think it was, for the whole week. And they became, within a couple of years, they became unreachable. They're like $800 and you couldn't get one. And then they developed this whole process where you had to apply for a ticket when they first came out in February, because I can remember waiting online, getting my tickets, and you just basically, it was first come, first serve. And I was able to get my tickets usually that way. I just waited online. It was slow. But now they developed this whole complicated system where you have to apply to even get a ticket if you're not in one of these quote-unquote groups that go there. I forget what they call them, but they're encampments, they're camps. And then, if you're providing a camp and then your camp is providing some kind of entertainment, you can go. But if you're not, and what this has done is there been a lot of smaller, not officially camps, but a lot of really smaller venues that I used to love to go to. They weren't really a big camp. They were maybe 4 or 5 people getting together, and they put on their shows and stuff. And it was one of the most interesting things I used to enjoy, going there, going down the back streets and watching these little shows. Well, I didn't find any of that this time. It was really big, over-the-top stuff or nothing, And as is probably noted by a lot of people who attend the Burning Man now, a lot of the major activities, they all center around the center camp, the big camp. And that wasn't the way it used to be. It used to be spread out all over, and you never knew. You went for a bicycle ride, you never knew what you were going to find. It was crazy. And it was fun, too. It was like a different world. And I'll give you a very strange example of something that I experienced. This was probably in 2010, 11. I was with my girlfriend camping, and she went back to the trailer, was tired, went to sleep. It was around midnight, and I stayed out a little longer, and I was riding back. And I'm riding back on a street that's taking me to the trailer, and I see this big event happening. And there was, a real good band playing, and there was all these real beautiful women dancing, and they were all like choreographed dancers and stuff, and it looked like it was a real event. So I went in there. It was like out of the ordinary, in the middle of nowhere. So I went in there, and I went up to the bar, and I go up to the bar, and I say, hey, I talked to the bartender. There's a guy behind the bar there, and I talked to the bartender. I say, hey, can I have a beer? And he says, yeah, what would you like? And I look at the beers, and they're all these real expensive imported beers. Like, they weren't 12-ounce bottles or 16, 20-ounce bottles, strange, and they were all from Europe. Expensive beers. I didn't know what to drink, so I picked one, and I drank it, and I looked at the bartender, and I was watching the dancers. They looked familiar, but familiar, I didn't know anybody like that, so I couldn't put it together. But anyway, so I take my beer and start drinking it, and then I look at this guy's face, and I say, I know who this guy is. It's Steven Spielberg. And anyway, I start chatting with him, and I just chit-chat stuff, and then I start talking about movies and stuff. And then he got a little defensive and apprehensive. He backed off from me. I said, I stopped doing that, and I got up, and I started dancing with the dancers, and I looked at them, and I don't know any of the names of those people that were out on the dance floor, male or female, but I know they were actors and stuff because I don't have a good memory. I'm not a movie cultist or anything, but I know some of them were in movies, pretty recent movies that I've seen. So this whole setup was these guys from Hollywood coming up, putting out this venue in the middle of nowhere, and and just having a blast. And I was like one of the straggler wanderers in or whatever. So anyway, I hung out there for an hour or so, and I said, wow, I got it, because my girlfriend was really into movies and following actors and all their lives and stuff. So I had to race back there, and she was asleep. And I said, you know what? I'll tell her the next day, and we'll go back there. So anyway, she got up, and I told her. She got all excited. We go back there about 9 o'clock. There's nothing. It's all gone. It just showed up and gone. And that's the way that it was there. You know, there was things going on that were spectacular out in the middle of nowhere, and then gone. You know, it was kind of a very unique experience. But getting back to today, I didn't see that at all. I just saw the usual. I will say this about the event. It was, it's about people, and it's about getting connected with people, and that is all the same. I found the people extremely friendly, sociable, just like it used to be. I think the event, though, has turned more into a, how would you say, a canned experience. It's commercialized for sure. I mean, it's making money. I mentioned the tickets and the way the tickets go. You know, they screen how the tickets are sold initially, and then they release these tickets later on. It's like in June, and it's for what they call the pay or play group. These are the people that have tons of money that go there. And I think the tickets start at about $1,500, $1,800. I don't know what it was. It was an outrageous amount. Where the base ticket now is about $800 and some dollars. They're charging $2,000 for a ticket, and these people gobble them all up because money means nothing to them because they got tons of it. So they cater to this group of people that have tons of money, and they make a lot of money on those ticket sales. And you have to ask me, well, why did I go this year? How did I go? Well, it rained and flooded really bad last year, so it kind of dampened the spirits of everybody going. Everyone saw the videos of how bad it was last year, and I was able to, in June, or I forgot when, directly buy an $800 ticket from Burning Man, which you could not do before that event, that flooding event. It was out of the question, and people were scalping tickets, $3,000 or $4,000 if you just wanted to walk in there after June. It was a major expensive event to go to before the flooding did. But this time they did whatever they could to sell the tickets, and they backtracked on their $2,000-$3,000 tickets and sold them for $800 all the way up to the event. And they got their full attendance because this event is on people's bucket lists. Everybody wants to go to it because they've heard about it. When I first started going to it, it wasn't one of those things that was well publicized. It was a lot more fun. And anyway, it's changed to a very commercialized event. But what I want to say is, the police state that it is there, and what happened to that guy, what I saw, made me really, really sad about that whole event. And I think it's all in part and connected to the pay and play people, the people who pay a huge amount of money to go. They don't want any scenes. They don't want no trouble. They want a very civilized life, and the use of the police force and the huge amounts of police presence there that's obvious is done to make those people feel comfortable. And then we have to go into the other structure of the Burning Man, and that's the economics, the money. Because when that Harvey first started that event, he kept the money for the people who worked on the event and had anything to do with it very, very conservative and low. I think I remember reading that aside from a few people, the most that he could pay was $15,000 for a period of full-time work on that event that somebody took it. That was a maximum cap. If you go and you want to find out something about this Burning Man event, and they call it nonprofit, and if you're aware of what's gone on with nonprofits and the corruption that has occurred with them, is that a nonprofit, by its definition, doesn't make money for the organization, but it's totally free to pay whatever salary it deems necessary to the people working on it. Consequently, in a nonprofit like Burning Man, you get these super salaries for people, and you don't know what they do. They can pay anybody anything. So you've got this system there where people are making a lot of money for doing what? I don't know. I'm sure there's a lot of people that work their ass off and get paid a very reasonable amount. And I know in Burning Man the way it works, a lot of people work and get absolutely nothing. And instead of getting nothing, they contribute a lot of the money and materials, etc., the artists. And the way it used to be run, the money taken in Burning Man, for the most part, when that early originator Harvey did it, was it used to be distributed to artists to come, to encourage the development and the showing of art. And there was grants for artwork. And that still goes on, it's still going on, but it used to be the main focal purpose of collecting the money, aside from giving some people some remuneration for their expense and time, what they did. Today, I think a lot of that money doesn't go to the artists. It's become very, very materialistic in the sense that it needs to collect more money. And from what I gathered from talking to burners, people had been going consistently through the times I was, the demands for more and more money is becoming extreme. And so I don't know. I will say positive things about the event because I enjoyed meeting all the people. It was fun. The people themselves haven't changed that much for the most part. The people that go there burning, it's a different culture, it's a different world. But I think the organization and who's running it has changed a lot of the perspective of the event. And I look at it kind of similar to the American government. The Americans themselves, I'm an American, a Californian, and I look at the American people, they're good, basic, they're still good, but they are living in a government that is not good. And I don't care what side of the wall you're on, I just don't look at it as good anymore. Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. And that's what we're living in. And I see a microcosm of a picture in the Burning Man that is paralleling that.
I want to get a picture of you guys here. All right. Okay, I got it. And we can put a little conversation here. You're interested in AI. Your name is?
Jesus.
Jesus, that's right. And my son's name is Andy. And you're coming from your physics there. Your physics background. So you're talking about particles and accelerators, right?
Well, that's currently what we're trying to figure out is what are the fundamental particles of the universe. Because atoms are not the smallest particle. And we thought they were. That's why they're called atoms. Atom literally means indivisible in Greek. That was the point, but they're very divisible. Not only are the atoms divisible into protons, neutrons, and electrons, but those are divisible into quarks, leptons, bosons. And
bosons. So how'd they get a name like that?
Yeah, I wonder.
Bosons. It's like Bozo the Clown, bosons.
That's so true, bosons.
Wow, man, it's really interesting talk. So how are you guys going to get around here on the playa?
This place has become a police state. I used to come here 7 years ago. I shopped, but before that, it was not a nonprofit, and they didn't have. There was one or two of these cops around, and nobody liked them. Now that's all there is, and I feel like I haven't been here in 7 years. I feel like I'm in a urban city with the cops here. Yeah, I feel like I'm in a suburban, not an urban, but a suburban city with lots of police all over the place. And if you speed or something, and they give you a right to look in your car and do this shit. Never used to be this way at the burn. You guys been coming a while?
No, this is our first burn.
Oh, okay. Well, this is a different world from what it was.
Guys, we traveled for 48 hours from Croatia.
Where are you from?
Croatia.
Croatia, holy shit.
Holy shit, exactly.
You want to hear a story? They left. I had 3 young guys next to me from Portugal. First time they flew in, they didn't know about you got a camper and everything. You're great. They had a couple tents, and they didn't even know how to set up the tents. They didn't buy a pump. They bought air mattress, but had no pump. And so I had to help them do that, help them set up the tent, try and figure out. What's that?
Sit with us.
Okay, sure. Yeah. So anyway, I figured, well.
Beautiful chicken stew if you like.
Oh no, I just ate. Oh shit. I'm getting ready to leave the Burning Man on Saturday morning to avoid the crowds, and my clutch stopped working. All the hydraulic fluid, it's a hydraulic actuated clutch, drained out, and I couldn't get it to work. So I had to drive home with no clutch. I did it.
See Highway Patrol again next week. Until then, remember, if you care to drive, drive with care. This is Bradley Crawford saying, see you next week.